to Mic Check Waifu Waifu.
Mic check, waifu, King Teliano. Is that you?
210, we here. What's up, Polo?
This is 211. This is 211 of Mic Check Waifu. As always, brought to you by Lube Complex and Don't Talk Shop. It's also brought to you by Patreon.com. Go to patreon.com/Mic Check Waifu to get early access to the video version of this podcast, to get access to our read-alongs, watch-alongs, and our conversational podcast, The After Story. The After Story 63 is out and up, as well as Trailer Reacts exclusive content up there as well. We couldn't do the show without our Patreon producers. What we started doing is in the top of our show notes and in the top of the video description of this video is putting our Patreon producers right there front and center so y'all can know who support us. We can't thank y'all enough. Shout out to Dre to Go G, Johnny from Show Go High, Ked the Pro from Chaotic Culture and Show Go High, Explicitly, Monique Williams, Nachi, and Saphir. Welcome back, brother, to the Patreon producer tier. We appreciate y'all for supporting us. That tier, that means a lot. It helps us out a lot. It pays for literally everything that we use, the website, lips, and all that good stuff. Truly appreciate it. Couldn't do it without y'all for keeping the lights on. More exclusive content coming over to Patreon real soon, actually. There's a lot going on right now as far as us personally. So when we get this situated, we're going to have some big stuff, big surprises for y'all. So at the top of the show, I want to talk about episode 216. That is going to be basically our episode 200. You know how people do something special on 200, 100, et cetera. We're going to do something special for 216 only because that's our home area code, Cleveland, Ohio's area code. It's what our phone number start with. My phone number start with. Is your phone number start with? Is you still 216?
Of course. I ain't left 216 ever.
Yeah. So we're gonna do a YouTube live stream of episode 216. So if you're not already, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you guys know when that's happening. Be there. Can't wait to do a live show because what we're gonna do is during that live show is obviously we're gonna record the show like normal for the most part. But we're going to incorporate the chat, the YouTube chat into the show so you guys can participate in a live episode of Mic Check Waifu. This is something we wanted to do for a while. We never done it, but we will do it, and it's going to be fire. We hope you guys enjoy it. This five more weeks until episode 216. I need to get Explicitly to make us a nice little cool flyer. We're going to get that done and start pushing that heavy. So subscribe to the YouTube channel so you guys get access to that live stream. It's going to be dope. Can't wait. Also, yeah, I guess that's it. No, that's it. That's it for the real roll. Tell how you feeling, brother.
Bruh. Let me tell you about this mistake I made. Because I feel good right off the bat. I'm going to just be honest. I feel good. I always feel good. I ain't going to never tell you nothing less. But here's the issue. AC, air conditioning units. Mm-hmm. So important.
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you why it's important.
Did y'all break?
Nah.
Oh, thank goodness.
It felt like it did, but mostly it was because we went to sleep and forgot to turn the AC on.
Oh, you bugging.
Woke up. It's like 96 degrees outside. It was 80 something in the house. And we get up at about almost 5 a.m. in the morning to get ready to go work out. We in here sweating. Yeah, I'm under the cover. Monique is sprawled out. It's like, yeah, bro, not never again. AC gotta stay on, even if it's on like a 78. It's funny
because Tell hate AC if y'all didn't know.
I hate AC.
Yeah, he's
like
a strange cat.
Right now, it's on, but it's on like hot. It's got to be hot in here. I got long sleeves on right now. I love being hot, but not underneath the cover. Not inside the house hot is not good. Outside the house hot, wonderful. Inside the house hot, what's wrong? What's the difference between that? Why does it feel so much worse inside the house and being hot?
Yeah, I think it's because it's a confined space, so the heat is just bouncing around everywhere instead of blowing past you. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's why. I feel that though, man. Listen. I love the AC. I cannot be hot. There's scientific proof that your body rests better when it's colder. So being colder is always my favorite thing. I'll sleep in my drawers. Sometimes I don't sleep in nothing, and I have the AC and the fan going, and I love it. I love that cold feeling, because no matter what time of year it is, no matter how hot it is, I gotta have the covers. I got to. And they got to be the comforter cover. It can't be no sheets. It can't be no blankets. I need a comforter cover always, all the time. Snuggled up, cold.
100%. I'm the same except for the cold part. I got to have a comforter. Got to have it cover me up. And then it's got to be not cold. But it's always cold here because Monique is just like you, bro. She just like you. She loves it cold. And my college roommate was the same. Them college ACs, I came in, he had the AC set to like 37.
Yeah.
36 degrees.
So you're the problem.
I'm cool with that. I'm okay. I ain't never said I wasn't the problem first and foremost.
You're the Scuba Steve in this situation. You might as well sleep with socks on.
Yeah, but I Scuba Steve tried to make, or I actually just talking to him too. He tried to make fun of me because I like to have my feet outside the cover because I don't like my feet.
No, that's okay too. That's okay too.
But come on, man, you got to give me a break on walking into your college dorm and the AC is set 37. There's frost on your windows and it's hot outside.
Yeah, no, that's kind of crazy.
Come on, man.
Because you in Ohio too, you in Akron, so it's not like it would.
I mean, he also went running down the street in shorts when it was snowing outside. So
wasn't he also from the Caucasus Mountains? So
I mean, I don't think that's a genetic fact, but he is of that lineage somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere from there. So for me, man, it's been a good week. I brought back the streaming. A lot of people coming through the support, and I got to give a shout out. He's not going to hear this for another, I don't know, fucking maybe 2 months. A big shout out to Semi Sensei. Shout out to Rob J too, because Rob J always come through every once in a while. But Semi Sensei pulled up, gifted a sub to the homie Shabibble, one of the old Patreon producers. But he came through and he was just telling me, he's still trucking his way through. The most recent episode he was on at the time that he told me was Reintroduction 4, which is 172. So finally he's catching up. He told me he has a whole list of tweets that he's been meeting to tweet to us about stuff that we said that we were obviously either wrong about or changed our mind on. All I gotta say is the two people that do this, okay. I mean, you know his name, his Twitter name. I don't want to mess it up.
Who's Semi Sensei?
Semi Sensei, and then it was somebody else. Somebody you got me hip to.
Oh,
I forget his Twitter name. I want to give him a proper shout out.
My boy Christian from work.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna just use his government. Christian, listen, y'all are fucking dope, because it's like having these archivists, if you will, basically go through like the older episodes just to remind us of things we say. There's a couple of things that Christian pointed out to me that I said that I had to go back and listen to. Mostly about, I think, what was it about? Oh, I can't remember, man. My memory is shot. I've been mentally fucking just drained recently, but it was so intriguing to just go back and just listen to these. And he gave me a time step for it and everything. I forgot what the fuck it was though, but it's just been great. It's just been great. Again, hearing Semi Sensei fucking start from the bottom all the way up. He's at 172. He said he listens to it every day to go to work. And every day coming home from work is fire, man. It's fire. So Semi, when you finally hear this, episode 211, we appreciate you, man. That shit That shit is fire.
Same with you, Christian. We appreciate
both
you.
Both of y'all. Yeah. It's dope. Super dope, folk. All right. Moving on. So today's episode, we're just going to continue to talk about the shows we've been watching. This time we ain't going to go into spoilers, obviously, because we're in the second episode. This is the episode before we get into trimming. Okay. Obviously, there's some stuff that we've trimmed already. I'm just going to say one of them right now because it was a new show. Well, it was a show that just came out. That was like one of the final shows that needed to come out before this. One of them was Devil is a Part-Timer Season 2, Core 2. That dropped, it wasn't a bad episode, actually. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. Kind of picked up right where it left off. It wasn't a bad episode. But the second show was Helck. Helck. I could not even finish the shit, bro. I couldn't even.
I'm so happy I saw you said you dropped it.
Bruh, I couldn't even fucking finish it. I tried so hard. And I was just
There's
fucking.
no way it was that bad.
No, it was terrible. It was awful. It stunk. It was so bad. It was awful. Like it was bad. The art style looked horrendous to me. I hated the character design, and I hated what the fuck they were talking about for that first 15 minutes that I watched. I'm like, okay, I don't give a fuck about anything that's going on here.
Wait, you ain't finished the episode?
No, I did not. Fuck that. 15 minutes in, I'm like, no, I don't care anymore. I don't give a fuck about this. I don't like the way it looks. It hurts my eyes. It's unattractive. All of it. I hated it.
I had to give Ayaka the high card treatment.
Oh, you talk about? Oh, yeah, that one's going too.
Only difference is I gave high card like 9 episodes. Ayaka, nah, bro. Go ahead and cut that short. I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah, I ain't touching that shit no more either. That shit was terrible.
It had the shonen tropes, but just worse. I almost would be a Black Clover promotion squad, or promotion team before I promoted something like that.
You might be right. You might be right. Damn well, I almost forgot to do this part, but the most important part of our show, one of the most important parts, is what was your episode of the week? I'm gonna start. The German Boy is a realist, bro. Unfucking believable show already. Like I said this prior, and again, by the time you're hearing this, the third episode is gonna be out, and it could just completely go to shit. It can completely go to fucking a trash show. I hate when this happens though. I hate when it's a show that comes out on Monday and we record on Sundays. It stresses me out so much because, again, I'm singing the praises of episode 2 of The Dreaming Boy is a Realist, not knowing if episode 3 or 4 or whatever next is better or worse. So take this with a grain of salt because, again, we record on Sunday. I edit on Monday. It goes live on Tuesday. So forgive me if I'm wrong, but I doubt I will be with this one. This one is singing my teen romantic comedy snafu vibes for me. Wonderful main character. I'm absolutely loving this show. I don't know how I do it every time with these sleepers, but I pick them. Boy, do I pick them. This is a great one.
Bro, be cheating on a test.
I don't even know how. I just was looking and saw the synopsis. I'm like, oh yeah, this is it.
So hear me out. Rob J was on to something when he said watch Reborn as a vending machine.
Shut the fuck up.
So my episode of the week is not going to be that because it's obviously not that.
Why would you say that? Why would you give him that gratification for 3 seconds?
Misdirection. You make them miss so you can get a good hit in. You know what I mean? It's a tactic.
He said he just did it to see how many people he can get to watch it anyway. So he's forgiven.
I'm stuck now because now I got to watch it and compare it to Reincarnated as a Sword.
Yeah.
And talk
you
about how
informed us last week.
How bad it is. All right. My episode of the week is I'm gonna go with Dark Gathering.
Dark Gathering. Okay. I forgot to watch that one. I watched every other one you said last week except for that one.
So Dark Gathering reminds me of I think it was called Musho Tensei. Not Musho Tensei because I know what that is. That's Jobless Reincarnation.
It was Mushoku Tensei.
Yeah, but it's a different one. It begins the same letters. But basically, it's another horror anime But something about this, it's just the character. She gives me Soul Eater vibes because her eyes are literal skulls. But I need to know more about her because the show is crazy.
The MC.
The one of the MCs, yeah. But her, I need to know what's going on with her, and it's actually just like it's action, but it's not really action. It's like you just gotta watch it. It's hard to explain, bro. It really is, but it's actually very solid. Looks good. Sounds good. They do a really good job of the no audio is good audio.
Oh yeah. I love that. So there's a show I picked up that you mentioned last week was the Undead Murder Farce. I actually liked it.
Yeah,
I actually liked it a lot. What I didn't like was from episode 1 to what it went to episode 2. It kind of was a jump in plot that was kind of jarring. But other than that, I enjoy what I watched for Undead Murder Farce so far. This is definitely staying on a week to week. Next week, just for the audience sake, next week we're gonna do our trim down. Obviously, our trim down episode of shows that we drop, because that's going to be the 3 episode. Most people do a 3 episode rule. So to help y'all out with the 3 episode rule, we're gonna tell y'all what we are dropping and cleaning up off of our list, because we definitely need to trim down some of these shows, because we up at for sure, because we up in around 20s 30 episodes this season, and I'm not doing that anymore. That lesson has been learned.
I'm surprised.
What?
Of the Undead Murder Farce.
Way more interesting than like the other. What was the other detective one? What was that one?
There was like the detective is already dead.
Yes, that one.
Okay. Undead Murder Farce. Like, I was like, I see where it's going.
Yeah, you didn't like it at first, right?
I'm worried. Yeah,
you were concerned.
Yeah, because I think it has a lot of nice things going for it, but I was just not sure on where the direction was going to go. Yeah, so maybe since you're watching it now.
Yeah, because you mentioned the main character's reasoning behind his motivations behind his tasks.
Yes.
And I'm like, really? I was watching. I'm like, really? Tell wasn't feeling that.
I love villains. I ain't gonna lie to you, especially when the villain is trying to rectify something that's actually unjust, right?
Yes.
I love that.
Yes, that's what I liked about it the most.
Yeah, but to me, it just seemed like it was the more of I want to try and get as many people in one spot to execute all the vile, and I get it.
Yeah, because those are the most vile people who wants to sit there and watch that shit. It totally made sense. It totally made sense for me.
I'm not saying it don't make sense, but I'm just not. Maybe it's my mentality. I'm not for really like, if this is real world, I'm like, I'm not killing nobody. I don't care how. If it's self-defense, yes. But if it's because you are a disgusting person that like to watch, I don't know, bullfights or whatever, I don't know what to tell you. It's not my thing. But yeah.
You know what I did? I thought about it in the sense of dog fighting. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of where my mind went. Like, I would fucking gladly, like, I would love to see those 2 pit bulls group up as a team and fuck them people up that's just watching this and put them in.
All the way out.
Yeah, fuck all of them. Fuck them that put them in this situation. Like, that was kind of my mindset when I was watching. I'm like, oh no, this is fucking fire. And then the transition between episode 1 to episode 2 is, whoa, I'm intrigued. Mm-hmm. It's giving me Inspector vibes, but with like a more darker twist.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's definitely darker than Inspector, because Inspector still has a little bit of a lightness to it.
Exactly.
It's more like spiritually lore based.
Yep.
In that sense, whereas this is actually almost like, I'm not gonna say it's horror, but it's just darker in general.
It's just monster.
The vibe itself is darker.
Yeah, it's monster based. So I totally enjoy what I'm looking at so far. I just fucking hate the way it ended. Like, it ended on that very abrupt, very abrupt way with no indication of it's even coming to an end. Like, this is like one you want to watch all together, to be honest.
Might be worth the binge.
It totally might be worth the binge coming from our perspective. And then let's see here. Yeah, what you wanted to touch on your sleeper real quick before we get into our topic?
So, I like my sleeper this time around so far. I do. I really do. And it's mostly because our MC, he gives me, it's like a mix of almost like Eminence and Shadow vibes with the idea of him like almost trying to like hide his ridiculous amount of power.
Which also is Eminence and Shadow.
Yeah, but it's like, what was it? He doesn't mind showing his power in another light, though. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was like, oh, you're okay with that? Okay, cool. I'll fight back. Or he's just that kind of character. So I do like that and the versatility of his skills. Yeah. So I do really actually and silently enjoy how this character is.
Sure. Yeah, me too. The problem with me, though, personally, is that this episode stunk until the end. Mm-hmm. Like the whole, I got access to the internet. It's slight spoilers, but trust me, this felt like a filler anyway. So this felt like a filler episode where majority of it was just him showing his little sister anime, basically. So, spoiler for episode 2, but trust me, you're fine. It was completely fucking filler, and useless. It was useless, and it didn't feel rewarding until we got to the very end when he met technically his blood brother. Spoilers. Oops. I'm gonna keep that in there. Fuck it. But yeah, it did get interesting into that, and I think that is where this show is at its peak. Like the whole fucking justice bullshit, like that shit was like a montage of just filling time to get to this cool part at the end. And hopefully we're done with that and we can now move on to where the meat and potatoes of the show is possibly going to be him. Yeah, I just want him to see him get to his shit. You know what I'm saying? I want to see him pop off more, or to his, trying to have a relaxing life. Either one, I would rather see that than this whole justice showing my sister anime stuff. This episode was a little rough for me until the end, but I'm liking it too. I'm still enjoying it too.
And I think you got a point though. Like it has a specific part that it hits where it gets good, because the name of it is "Am I Actually the Strongest?" And I think, ironically enough, we'll see someone who may be equivalent to them or near. You know what I mean? And I feel like they pose that as a question intentionally. So that'll be really dope to see if it goes that far. If it don't, it is what it is. It's just another regular anime, but I hope it gets good or better.
Yeah, and that's, you know what? That's not the only one that disappointed me, because the one that also surprised me as well was the one that I talked about last week. Where was it? Yeah, my unique skill makes me OP at even at level 1. That one was good for that first episode, but the second episode kind of stunk. And it's mostly because of this bunny character they introduced. I fucking hate her.
Focused entirely too much on her and the carriage, right?
Ugh. She's so annoying.
I would have and then the cliffhanger is what killed it. Yeah. Yep. That clip, I was like, come on, bro. That was unnecessary. You could have at least shown us the image of what it's supposed to be as something.
Right.
It was so
cheap.
Ugh. Yeah.
Cheap. Okay. So again, all right. Those were very interesting. But before we continue on with our topic, because we still got a topic for this episode, I want to know, what did you think about Liar Liar? You finally watched the second episode and the third episode. Was everything you said correct still?
It goes exactly in the route I think it does. At least what I thought it would go. Personally, I think, because
you thought he was hiding the fact that he was actually smart. That's what you said last week.
Is that what I said, or did I say he's actually bad at the game?
No, you said that he was pretending to be bad.
If I say he's actually smart, then I think I was right, because I don't think he's bad at the games. I definitely think he's lying. So we might have to put a sound clip in. I definitely think he's lying at this point, that he's actually obviously a lot better at the games than he claimed to be, or he might actually just not be good at the games. He's just overall just a really, really good liar. Because I don't think he has to necessarily be good at the game. I just think he has to be a really, really good liar.
And that's exactly
that's good at the game.
And that's exactly it's not good at the game because okay, all right, because it's twofold, right? If you're a really, really good liar in a situation where you have to lie this much, yes, that makes him quote unquote good at the game. But it doesn't necessarily make him good at the game because he was relying on the company. So what makes this so interesting for me and why it's so intriguing is because he's not the Lelouch player, or he's not a Light or L or whoever it was. He's not that brainiac person. And that's why I'm so interested in it, because it's different from that. He's extremely lucky and a really good liar. That's exactly what I think his whole motif is.
Yeah, I was gonna say I gotta call a slight bit of cap, and I'm only saying it because of what you said. Like, he's relying on the company. Yeah, he relies on the company. But this episode, it was almost like the company couldn't do anything, right? And I feel like that was the precedence that they set. It was the company couldn't really do anything. And now that, yes, they helped him with planning, but everybody is planning beforehand.
All he had to do was, he knew that all he had to do was delay a little bit of time. And that's what he did. He just monologued for 2 seconds until the company got the shit done. When the company got the shit done, he was able to lie his way through it continually. He's not anything special.
But that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that he specifically, if everybody get 3 skills, he used his 3 skills. You know what I mean? Essentially, yeah, the company is the one that applied those skills, but anybody could have got those same 3 skills and essentially did the same three things. He just had to lie about it better. So that's what I'm saying, is that really I don't think that if the company was involved at all, he could have sat down and made the same plan and executed in either the exact same way or a similar way. That's my perspective. But I don't think he's particularly good at the games, because if I said that, then I'm definitely wrong. But I think he's a phenomenal liar. Like, clearly he's top 1 liars in the universe.
Yeah. And then his motivations, I'm curious to see what his motivations is. Probably predictable. The girl he's probably looking for is the girl he's probably already been spending all his time with. That's my prediction. But I will say I enjoy this a lot more than I thought I was. And it's mostly because of the simple fact is it's not like Tomodachi Game. It's not this brilliant character that's just like, who knows all the answers and is like keeping it to himself until, but here's the true answers. It's a plan that's like being executed in a way that we can all see from his perspective and watch it play out. And it's kind of almost tense like situations where, because if you get caught, he's pretty much fucked, like big time. It's
he can't lose.
Yeah, exactly. Because if he loses, it's over. Like one loss. That means everybody that's involved with this is exposed, including the company.
I also have that question in mind of, like, if you beat somebody, you get a star, one of their stars, right?
Right.
So does that also mean he has the purple or whatever star that he got from that guy? Like, they didn't deliver on those rules properly.
Yeah, it's a lot of dialogue too. It's a lot. So they probably did, and we missed it. So I mean, if they did, or just period, because again, their conversations is a lot of dialogue. So I wouldn't be surprised if we missed something. If we did, you can write us on Twitter at MikeCheckWaifu or contact at MikeCheckWaifu.com. We'll read it if we missed anything. But I don't think we missed anything that major. I don't think we would.
Yeah.
But I'm intrigued, man. I need to see where this goes. I need to see where this goes and who's involved and what the underlying plot is. Point. It's just,
I'm locked in because it gives me chivalry vibes. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
It does. Are you watching Classroom for Heroes?
Yeah, I'm watching Classroom for Heroes too. That's more. I'm not saying that this episode was phenomenal. Like, it's not like I'm saying it was great, but it was actually I enjoyed this episode a lot.
Me too.
I enjoyed that a lot.
The editing was weird, but other than that, it was a good episode.
If there was if things were done, like you said, editing wise differently, this could have been like my episode of the week. Just because I like the direction in total, and then like the revelations and how the characters responded. I loved that, man. Yeah. But it kept its like goofy persona the entire episode, and I vibe with that too, because it's like it didn't try and lose its own character in trying to make this moment somewhat serious. So yeah, man, I actually really enjoyed this episode.
It's one of the shows that don't take itself too serious, and I think we need that. That's why I love Devil is a Part-Timers. Love the shows that don't take itself too serious. That's still good. Like it's so good. Okay, so moving on. Let's talk about this topic. Okay, this topic is going to be about a show that I watched. I only watched the first episode. The show is just super okay. It's as mediocre as mediocre could be. It's not Vivi level revelations or anything like that, but it got me thinking. The show I'm referring to is the Gene of AI. It got me thinking because the main character is put in a situation to where he's like a doctor who's totally against the AIfication, if you will, which is relevant in today's day and age, obviously, with Chat GPT and all that shit. But the AIfication of humans, and this world is full of people who they call humanoids, who are mostly, machine based or AI based. And the first episode kind of touches on something that I thought was extremely interesting, because you would think it's not that big of a deal, but in this show it is. And it is, you create a backup of your consciousness, basically, or the humanoid's consciousness, and you use it basically if something goes wrong. So for example, if Tell is a humanoid, okay, we're hooping, we're playing basketball, and he bump his head, and now he has a glitch in his system where he constantly shakes, and he only has a certain amount of time before he shuts down, or his AI shuts down and he's fucked up. But guess what? We created a backup of Tell. So once he shut down, we could just reinstall that backup of him from a week ago, which was his last backup. Does that make Tell the same person or not? And that's what this first episode kind of revolves around. And I think that's a fucking interesting concept in like the life we live in today. Like,
yeah,
because the episode kind of, and I'm gonna spoil the first episode of the Gene of an AI, because Tell didn't spoil it for me last week because I didn't see it yet and I was interested in watching it. So shout out to him for that. But this episode had that exact scenario with this guy's wife. His wife was backed up basically. And creating a backup in this world is illegal because it could change the personality of the AI. But she had a backup created of her, but when she got that backup done, a virus was inserted, and she only had basically a certain amount of time to live. So she was, the wife and the husband was kind of conversating on like, hey, should we run this backup? Should we run this backup? Right when they were about to get ready to do the backup, she said no, because she wanted the 7 days that she spent with her daughter to remain consistent with, everything that she's already who she was. Yeah, exactly. To remain consistent. So she end up she cancels the getting the backup done, and then her few days that she had left, she dies, essentially, quote unquote. She shuts down. But they reinstalled the backup that she had from just a week ago. It was only 7 days ago that she reinstalled this backup. But when she reinstalled it, it was like this emotional thing for the entire family because the daughter didn't feel like she was the same person anymore or something like that. That's what it indicated. I'm not sure if that was entirely the case, but to me, and I'm gonna just kind of go into what I thought about that whole situation. And the situation itself is, to me, that didn't seem like it would be that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But in this world, because of the main character experienced something exactly like this, where his mom, where they created a backup of his mom, and the mom that's in jail right now is the backup. And he's like the main overall story. And he's spending time trying to find his original mom. I think a scenario like that is actually fucked up. But the situation that we had in this particular episode 1 I'm referring to, was not that bad.
So
what do you think about the whole concept and everything like that?
I have quite a few thoughts. And I'm only going to have quite a few thoughts because I personally know someone who's going through something similar. There's someone that I know who their fiance got, well, kind of, right? Their fiance got into a car accident, and lost all of their memory. Basically, this person didn't even know their name when they woke up. Had to have extensive surgery. And even to this day, this person forgets the conversation they had 30 minutes ago because now they have short-term memory loss. It takes a long time to remember things, that kind of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm only saying this in the sense of like, they have essentially the experience with this person is that they will remember you long term. They remember who you are, but the conversations you've had are not the same anymore. They won't remember the conversations you've had. So who you're talking to feels like an entirely different person. And what I'm saying is that like, it's not necessarily the fact that this person was able to have a backup. Because if this person had a backup for me, in a lot of ways, it would feel the same because it was like, oh, you've been out cold for a month, right? If it's, let's say this person was in a coma for a month and then they get that backup, I never missed a step, right? But what I mean more or less, and what this is why I see like some kind of moral dilemma is the fact that your personality changes with the experiences you have, right?
Right.
So for instance, let's say you got into a fight, and this person hit you, knocks you out cold, you wake up, you don't remember the fight at all, but you got a stutter going on from going forward, right? And when you have this stutter, every time you have this stutter, let's say you forget normal manners that you normally would have. Polo is very respectful to women. When he talks to women, he's very respectful. Now, after he got this hit, it's like, all right, Polo looks at women and he doesn't just see women, he just sees people, right? You don't see man or woman, you just see people. And you don't give women a extra respect, you just see them differently. So now your mom and your sister and other people might look at you and say, Polo, something a little different. And yeah, you're still Polo, you just have this slight difference. But now what you're doing is you're taking an entire possible, let's say, week of experience, an entire possible, because let's say the backup was 2 years ago. You're taking a whole 2 years of experiences that you lost and they're no longer there. For your friends and family, you're the same person, like for the things that they already experienced with you that they know is still there, but the stuff that's gone now, it's like you have a person there who has no idea for an entire time frame of your life that you spent with them. You know what I mean? That's the entire conversation. That's like saying I can't ever talk to you again about this podcast. I still know you Polo 100%. I still know you're Polo. And that backup that we had right before this podcast, we playing games, acting like life was good. And I'm like, bro, you remember episode 216 when we was live and we had 1,000 people in the stream? It was crazy. And you're like, what are you talking about, bro?
Right.
That would feel like I'm not talking to Polo. That would feel like in that moment, I'm not talking to Polo. I know you are Polo. I know that's you, right? That's your body. That's your brain. But that experience that we had is gone. It's null and void. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So yeah, when you put it that way, it's different because I was thinking about it in the sense of the week that she had, and then even the time that I think she said it was like an extra 14 days or something like that she had before the virus completely overridden her systems and she shut down.
So like 21 days in total is what she had.
She had. So I guess to everybody else that'll be a little weird.
And if you talk to people who have things like memory loss, to them, they're the same person. Right. So that's the thing that like for that person morally, it might not feel any different to them. I'm not sure how I would personally feel because obviously I've woken up and some things that I did the night before might not have been remembered. And I don't feel any different. Yeah. But it's to everyone else around you, they're experiencing you differently now because all of that is gone.
Yeah, because when you talk about, situations like the whole accident thing, I think that's different, right? Like if I hit my head and I am different towards women, like your example you use, that's a major change, right? We're talking about a backup of me, and in this case, her, the backup of her that she's still the mother of that girl they adopted. She's still the wife of the guy she married. Like she's not. The only difference is the experience of that 21 days that she had, which was just waking up, cooking breakfast, helping the child get ready for school, spending time with the husband. Like it's not any major deterrence from her everyday life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, unless, you know, she witnessed a murder in that 21 days that she now can't recall. Yeah. Right. That would have traumatically changed who she was, or she experienced something that a big surprise from her husband that would traumatically change exactly what it was. I don't like it wasn't anything like that. That wasn't what they were kind of showing. They were just kind of showing that she didn't make the eggs different for her daughter that morning. Maybe that's an issue with the show, but it still had me thinking like, oh shit, but well, maybe that was something like that wouldn't be as bad. Yeah. Because the only thing she didn't remember was the fact that she made her eggs different.
And that specifically, right? I'm thinking that's not bad. That's not,
that's where I was.
How to make the eggs different, right? Yeah. But you also think about this, right? And I'm only saying this because my grandmother just passed. Imagine I spend 21 days with my grandmother before she passed, right before the day she passes. And I get to experience those. She knows she's going to die. She's terminally ill. She knows that at the end of the 21 days, she got to log out, right? On that 21st day, she just goes right back to never having been sick. Don't even know she was sick. I had to grieve for 21 days knowing that my grandmother was going to pass in that moment, right? I'm thinking like that. For 21 days, I had to grieve all those experiences we felt where we were just hanging out, living, just like, look, I want to enjoy this time. And then after that happens, I'm like, yeah, nah, you remember we, you know, I'm so happy that you okay, blah, blah. What do you mean you happy? I'm okay. Ain't nothing. This is who I've always been. Okay. What do you mean I've been okay? And I'm just like, no, we cried together. We had a whole 2 hours of us crying and hugging and laughing because this is what we experienced. And she's like, yeah, I don't know none of that.
Yeah, but she's here.
Yeah, she's here. I'm saying that like, and what I'm saying more or less is that experience will forever shape the person who experienced it, right? Me, I'm going to experience that for the rest of my life because I got to experience that. Right. Her, she gonna be like, I don't know, ain't nothing happen. What?
Right. Yeah.
So I think for the person who is being backed up or whatever, I personally wouldn't even care. I'd be like, no, back me up and restore me, please.
Right.
But it's more about, I guess, like those who surround them, because now they're never going to experience that same person again. And I think realistically, it's a little selfish of the people around them. But for the person who might want to continue living their life, you know, who knows? And maybe even that person might want them to always be remembered as who they currently are. I don't think 21 days is an accurate representation of someone changing enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But let's say it had been something like 2 years or a longer time span where you got to see someone grow up, graduate, different things like that. And then you say, well, if I back them up now, they've missed everything that I've ever experienced. They're never going to see that.
Right. And you know what the crazy part about it is?
That we have Google Photos and you can just...
No. The crazy part about it is that the dilemma that this world, the gene of AI, the anime we're referring to in this particular topic, is that if he would have never tried to create a backup in the first place, she would have never got that virus.
Mm-hmm.
It would never have to use the backup. It would have never experienced this entire thing anyway. So if you just follow the fucking law because you're trying to get cute and like, I want to, like, I love my wife. I want to at least make a backup of her just in case. But that ended up being the reason why she shuts down anyway. And you have to need to use the backup in the first place. It's like a
double-edged sword
that you shouldn't be in the first place. And I think that was a point of the episode. I think this show is neat because what it shows is at the beginning of the episode, it shows like this kid excited to become a humanoid. You know what I'm saying? He's a human kid, and they get some what in the world of cyberpunk they call it chrome. He gets some chrome implanted and it becomes a humanoid. And like he's like, yeah, all my friends are humanoids. I'm the last one to become one. And you just kind of think about it like, wow, do you really want to become one? Like even do you really want to get this chrome in you? You know what I'm saying? Pause. It's but it's like it's an interesting concept. The anime is not that great, but it does have some things in it that are like thought provoking. Now I just thought we should we should talk about. And
Yeah.
What you closing thoughts? Let's do closing thoughts on this one.
I'm going to keep watching it
Same.
for the sole purpose of the fact that I feel like what they're going to present to us will get increasingly harder decisions to make, almost like what Vivi did. You know what I mean? Vivi, and I'm not saying that Vivi had increasingly harder decisions to make, but they kept pushing how far the AI was going to adjust things.
Yes.
So maybe they will keep pushing that boundary and saying, all right, this experience is going to keep getting worse and worse and worse until you agree with us. So if they can change my mind, then that'll be dope. But if they can't, then I mean.
So you watched episode 2. Just tell me, is it better than episode 1? As far as like its concepts, because I didn't watch episode 2, y'all. So what we were referring to was episode 1.
I feel like it was right around the same, but I would say it's probably more linear now, almost like it had a more steady pace. That's all it was.
Interesting.
So it kept the same idea, but I feel like it will still push it further in the coming episodes, because it was kind of further, but not in a sense.
All right, it's done by Studio Madhouse, and it has a 65% average score. Or Eddie list.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so I'm gonna keep checking it out too. I'm just not. This was when I'm like, okay, I got a lot of shit to watch today because I was streaming all week. So I was like, let me save this for last, and if I have time, I'll do it. Really didn't, so I didn't. So, yeah, we'll come back and discuss that next week probably, if it makes the trim or not. Because next week again, I said, is the trim episode, so we shall see if that's going to be the case. All right, so we're gonna take this quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna get into spoiler talk. The shows that we're spoiling this week is Mushoku Tensei, obviously, Jobless Reincarnation season 2, Zom 100, and JJK. We'll be right back after these.
I said I could take you to the moon. We get high enough tonight, I'ma leave this all behind. One good sex, no less. One good checks, no less. I'm in your head, yeah. I'm in your head, yeah. I'm in your head, yeah. I'm in your head. Twice I know you did, you know I can't feel a thing. Feel like you just got away with these empty promises. I thought I could hold it down, you said you would be around. Yeah, my bad, I thought that way. You that bitch, I thought you ain't, hey. Oh, now you sit inside and, put it all aside. I want good checks, no less. I want good sex, no less. I'm in your head, yeah. I'm in your head, I'm in your head. Calls you wait for you next, don't act like I owe you, yeah. Hard for me to show I care, reaping what you sow now. Needed you, but you weren't there. Run my shit, pay my dues, can't pay to win. Brand new bitch, like a 10, got no time for you again. I want good checks, no less, I want good sex, no less. I'm in your head, yeah, I'm in your head, I'm in your head.
And welcome back to episode 211 of Mic Check Waifu. Again, make sure you guys check out patreon.com. Any support helps. We love you. We appreciate you. Can't thank you enough. Okay. Excuse me. It's late. Damn, it's about to be 1 o'clock in the morning. We're recording this right now, y'all. All right, let's get into the spoiler talk. Let's see here. Starting with Jobless Reincarnation, episode 3.
Do you want to get your thoughts first? Or you want me to get my thoughts?
Yeah, this could have been episode of the week. I wanted to make it episode of the week, but I had to give shout out to the sleeper. But again, fantastic episode. This fucking show is probably one of the greatest isekais ever made. It's to me, it's like it's starting to become 1A, 1B. ReZero being 1A, Jobless Reincarnation being 1B, because it's so emotional. There's a lot of just quality, like character development, or just not even character regression into very, very, very interesting, thought-provoking shit. Like the way he's handling situations, can you blame him? The only thing that would bug, and that probably does bug people, is the whole panties and him being kind of a pervert kind of thing, bro. Which that shit don't bother me either. It don't bother me, none whatsoever. It's just him, but he's still a fucking fantastic character, through and through. Great episode, man. Great episode. Episode 3.
So hear me out.
Or 2. Yeah, 3. Sorry.
I both loved and hated this episode. And my hate for this episode is very specific. It's a very, very specific thing that I hate, because it made me want to fight somebody in this episode. This episode had so much going on. There were emotions. I understood his emotional stagnation in itself as well. Yeah. I even understood his unknowingness as to why he's doing what he's doing. You know what I mean? Like all of this entirety of the episode was it was a note to himself the entire time about essentially what he's been going through, and even what he looks like to other people. And the part that I hated about this was the guy who had to, pop his shit and talk about
very smart guy, by the way.
And he's smart. He is smart, but he's like, you're looking down on us. And it is, but he's looking down on y'all because y'all have no idea. Yeah. And that's the wildest part, is that like y'all have no idea. Like bro literally just encountered one of the strongest persons in the verse of the world, right? Because it was 2 of them, right? He just recently encountered some of the strongest people in the entirety of this show. Got mopped. But y'all also have no idea. Y'all just encountered one of the strongest motherfuckers in the entirety of the show, right? Rudius is a demon. He can cast spells that y'all would literally just lose y'all mind if y'all saw him clear the weather the way he did. Yep. Y'all would lose y'all shit. But you're worried about why he's looking down on y'all. He's not looking down on y'all because he actually thinks y'all are stupid. He's looking down on y'all because he's like, y'all really have no idea. Like all the things y'all feeling, the things y'all complaining about, it makes a lot of sense to y'all. And even to me, the things they complain about, the joke about, all this stuff they doing, it makes sense to me.
And welcome back to episode 211 of Mic Check Waifu. Again, make sure you guys check out patreon.com. Any support helps. We love you. We appreciate you. Can't thank you enough. Okay. Excuse me. It's late. Damn, it's about to be 1 o'clock in the morning. We're recording this right now, y'all. All right, let's get into the spoiler talk. Let's see here. Starting with Jobless Reincarnation, episode 3.
Do you want to get your thoughts first, or you want me to get my thoughts?
Yeah, this could have been episode of the week. I wanted to make it episode of the week, but I had to give shout out to the sleeper. But again, fantastic episode. This fucking show is probably one of the greatest isekais ever made. It's to me, it's like it's starting to become 1A, 1B. ReZero being 1A, Jobless Reincarnation being 1B, because it's so emotional. is so. There's a lot of just quality like character development or just not even character regression into very, very, very interesting, thought-provoking shit. Like the way he's handling situations, can you blame him? The only thing that would bug, and that probably does bug people, is the whole panties and him being kind of a pervert kind of thing,
bro.
Which that shit don't bother me either. It don't bother me, none whatsoever. It's just him, but he's still a fucking fantastic character, through and through. Great episode, man. Great episode. Episode 3.
So hear me out.
2. Yeah, 3. Sorry.
I both loved and hated this episode. And my hate for this episode is very specific. It's a very, very specific thing that I hate. Because it made me want to fight somebody in this episode. This episode had so much going on. There were emotions. I understood his emotional stagnation in itself as well. Yeah. I even understood his unknowingness as to why he's doing what he's doing. You know what I mean? Like all of this entirety of the episode was it was a note to himself the entire time about essentially what he's been going through and even what he looks like to other people. And the part that I hated about this was the guy who had to, pop his shit and talk about
very smart guy, by the way.
Yeah, and he's smart. He is smart, but he's like, you're looking down on us. And it is, but he's looking down on y'all because y'all have no idea. Yeah. And that's the wildest part, is that like y'all have no idea. Like, bro literally just encountered one of the strongest persons in the verse of the world, right? Because it was 2 of them, right? He just recently encountered some of the strongest people in the entirety of this show. Got mopped. But y'all also have no idea. Y'all just encountered one of the strongest motherfuckers in the entirety of the show, right? Rudius is a demon. He can cast spells that y'all would literally just lose y'all mind if y'all saw him clear the weather the way he did. Yep. Y'all would lose y'all shit. But you're worried about why he's looking down on y'all. He's not looking down on y'all because he actually thinks y'all are stupid. He's looking down on y'all because he's like, y'all really have no idea. Like all the things y'all feeling, the things y'all complaining about, it makes a lot of sense to y'all. And even to me, the things they complain about, the joke about, all this stuff they doing, it makes sense to me if I were them. Right. But if you're looking at it from Rudius's perspective, right? If you can take a second to step outside of your mind and look at everything that was said to him, like I don't know what you've been through, bro. You don't know what he's been through. Yeah. He lived. This is his second life. This is his second time logging in. His first one was trash. Literally died amongst it. His second one started off fire. Oh my God, I loved his life for him. And then it went to crap. And it ain't even like
in the worst way possible.
It ain't straight go to crap. Yeah, right, in the worst way possible. He just got separated from everybody he loved, right? Crap, right? He just got separated. That's all it was. He lives in a kingdom, or he has to basically travel across continents and what would seem like countries and states and whatnot to get back to his family, to get back to them, only to find out that some of them are mad at him, but only because of they knew that he could do better, and then constantly having to live up to other people's expectations. And then when he lives up to them, he's too much, or when he doesn't live up to him, he's not acting enough. And it's just, you have no idea to sit there and talk to Rudius and act like what he has gone through. You have no idea what he's gone through. And I don't care if you're drunk or not. Who are you to judge, what he's been through, regardless of what? If he's looking at you, he's looking down on you, it's none of your business, bro. Yeah, no,
it's I just love the fact that he was intelligent enough to see that he's holding back. They can tell, like, what are you hiding? Why are you pretending to be this? Because again, what I love about the show is the fact that you can tell, even from the perspective of a viewer, when somebody's faking it, when somebody's bullshitting. Rudius is literally, it's the fake smile, because you can see what this show does well is that it shows the deadpanness of his eyes, but with the smile that he puts on, and it does a great job of showing the difference between a genuine Rudius smile and a smile that he's putting on for a farce, for it as a mask to hide whatever the fuck it is he got going on.
He's been dead episode 1.
Yeah, I completely understand where that guy was coming from. It will piss you off, but you just don't fucking know. You like, he's the wrong one. And to watch him go, change, and walk out and say, "Oh, she's missing." Oh, okay. Well, if you excuse me, step out, change the entire fucking weather, walk into this forest, don't bat an eye, and just obliterate these fucking demons that this party has been having trouble with, and still not show off any of his skill, any of his ability. He can literally end this entire, or make this entire search 20 million times easier. I don't know why he doesn't yet. Like, I don't completely understand why. He kind of touches on it briefly to kind of get his name out, but I think the quickest way to doing that is to pop the fuck off.
And hear me out, right? So I see 2 different objectives here, right? If he shows too much strength, he puts a target on his back. And that would be by the people he can't defeat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the dragon demon or whatever, dragon god.
Yeah, and it's 4 of them, 3 of them, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
So we don't want to deal with these sword masters, magic masters. We don't want to deal with that yet. But if he were to do it in a much more incognito way, it will draw smaller people to him, to get the attention from those people who are who
may know where his mother is,
his family, his mother, that kind of stuff. So I see that perspective, but also, like I said, you got to take into his emotional state into that, right? He is literally just surviving, bro. He is depressed because the girl he currently loves don't want nothing to do with him. He can't see his family. He thinks. Yeah, he thinks. So he thinks, right? He can't see his family, and he is trying to gather as much as he can. He's literally operating like a robot right now.
Yeah. And
like you said, they do such a good job at demonstrating that the Rudius we have right now is not the same Rudius from last season, or part 2 of last season, or part 1 of last season. This Rudius is a clearly damaged Rudius. And like you said, he can handle all of them in a close quarters combat. He can handle all of them in a long range combat, but he's at a state right now where he knows his strength, not necessarily in place to everyone, but he can tell when someone can match him. And to these people, he knows that if he did too much, he would be their king. He would be a god to them in no time. And I think that's the opposite of what he's trying to do.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. All I know is this show is fantastic. It's just, it's truly, truly one of the best shows I've seen in such a very long time. Like, it just makes me miss ReZero. Thank God that's coming back soon.
I swear.
Oh, I'm so excited. But it's just that good. It's just really that good. What do you think about Sarah basically, essentially, virtually falling in love with him, basically?
It makes sense.
Yeah, truly. He fucking came out and rescued her in the damnedest of things.
Fall for my mans.
Yeah, true.
He needed some love, but probably not the other kind of love he was getting before, but he needed some love. True.
I love the fact that that his inner monologue also touched on the fact that, y'all know, I meant what I mean what I'm saying when y'all helped me out big time, because they did that what was it, caustic arrow, whatever the fuck they were called. They literally brought him out of his slump.
Counter arrow,
yeah. They brought him out of his slump, and that to him was probably bigger than anything that he's ever experienced since he's been, abandoned, if you will, by Ares. Which is so crazy, because when you think about it, Ares literally did this just so she can get stronger to protect him. She's fucking scarred after what happened with that demon, that dragon guy. Like, she's so like, and you can't fucking blame her. And that's again what makes the show so good. Like, okay, if I'm maybe if I'm away from him, he doesn't have to almost get himself killed to protect me because I'm not strong enough to protect myself or him.
Exactly. And that's partially probably why he's not trying to show, because he can recognize, obviously, that he's stronger than others. So maybe he don't want to be that force that makes people weaker again. The more he shows how strong he is, the easier it is to push him away, because now, especially for people who are adventurers, I fall in love with you, or I just love you as a friend, and now I have to grow to surpass you. And he knows that shit, he got cheat codes. It's not happening for everybody like that.
Yeah. And now, so again, the show is probably it's written so well that it's hard to even find a flaw. And again, I guess from somebody who doesn't necessarily care about the whole him being like pseudo pervy kind of thing, like it's okay to be, and not in a creepy way. Obviously, I'm saying this, so don't take this with a grain of salt. But it's okay to have some. You like women. He likes women. And yeah, it's a little creepy, but it does not deter from the fact that he's such a well-written character. He's such a diverse character in the way of like growing and learning and adjusting and just everything in its wake. You root for him is what I'm trying to say. Basically, it's a great show. As far as gut check goes, man, I don't know where this is going to go. I'm looking forward to the next episode. We got 6 days, 8 hours. It comes out every Sunday, which is perfect because it makes it like one of the last shows I watch anyway.
Yeah. I'm just going to say, I think he going to
start popping off. Oh, ghost everybody.
Yep.
He got to get his jacket back. He got to get his drip back though.
For sure.
He got to get his drip back. Looking at the title.
Oh, I didn't even look at that.
Well, I just wanted to see if he no, he doesn't look grown up in this yet. Okay. So yeah, this is probably where he dips out. I agree with that big time. I think that's exactly where this goes next. Yeah. So, oh shit. I forgot to touch on this at the beginning of the show. Episode next week is the finale of Nier Automata. So it was the rest of the episodes. So
yeah,
after cut week, we could probably do that review. Yeah.
It's time.
It's time. All right. Let's see here. What was next on the list? Because you already sent the note, so I might as well go in the order that you wish you sent. Zom 100, yeah. Yeah, man, I'm interested. I love the character so far, and you know what's funny? I became more interested in the show after I watched the intro. Because last week we didn't get an intro, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just started.
Yeah, it just started.
Mm-hmm. So this week we got an intro, and I became more interested after seeing the intro because of the characters. The characters that they showed looked extremely intriguing and fun. Yeah, so now I'm like, okay, now I'm ready to see those. And obviously in this second episode, we got to meet one of them, which is the fitness junkie, which she's fire, by the way. She's definitely waifu material. And she's just like, I don't know. She seemed very interesting. And what I liked about this episode, probably the absolute most, is the dynamic. Excuse me. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. The dynamic lists that they're each doing, and in a separate instance, right? They don't know each other. They don't know what's going on. But he got a list of 100 things I want to do before I turn into a zombie. And she has a list of 100 things I want to do to avoid being turned into a zombie. And you can see how almost miserable she is. While, not necessarily saying that or showing that per se. But how miserable she is in trying to experience in this, or just trying to survive. And how just fucking joyous he is by trying to do as much as he can. I think that's a dope dynamic, and I think those two coming together will be fantastic show.
Yeah, this main character gives me Luffy vibes, but
a little less annoying.
Obviously smarter because he got a big time business job, but
very capable.
Very capable. And he's a rugby player. Bro is actually still physically a demon too.
Straight up.
But this episode, to me, I agree. The list, to me, actually set it over the top. Because I actually thought the episode was pretty cool in the dimensions that they show from the two different characters.
Yeah, the perspectives.
They showed them as just being overall different. Mm-hmm. But bro was stuck in her mind. She was like, oh, wait, hold up. And we got to see that entire recap of what they went through, but her perspective, I loved it.
So sick.
And hear me out. Normally, I think what was it about that execution that made that so good? Was it just her voiceover in the moment that made it so good? Because the way they even placed it, because it's not like they made it take forever, but the way they even placed that scenario with them too, and it playing back in her head was so good. You
know what I think it was?
What was it?
And maybe it's just because of the cinematography in me. It was the normal view to the widescreen. And I think that mentally a lot. I think a lot of people didn't realize that switch, but you did without even thinking about it. You witnessed that switch, and when that switch happened, it felt like an entirely different.
Like they hit different angles or something.
Yes, it was just an entirely different show at that point because all they did was change the aspect ratio. The aspect ratio was, from his perspective, from our main character's perspective, was a normal viewing angle. And then it went to, it was so fucking dope. It slowly transitioned into that as her voice started talking. When her voice started talking, that's when it slowly transitioned into widescreen. And then we went into her side of the story. And that shit was so clean that it felt like two different shows. Because that's exactly, I felt exactly what you felt. And I didn't think about it until it was close to the end of the show. I'm like, oh shit, this shit is in widescreen now. I was like, oh my God, it was so sick. It blew my mind. It was shockingly very impressive with the way they did that.
Not even gonna lie to you though, this episode almost made episode of the week for me. Based off like that last section alone. And then it also broke my heart when Mr. and Mrs. Kurosako or whatever died. Yeah, I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, yo, that's the reality though. You know what I mean? Yeah, you just went to go get some beer. You just went to the store real quick. You know, I'm going to the corner store. Y'all need anything? No, we good. We'll see you later. It was good meeting y'all. And he came back.
Hey guys, I'm back.
Figured it out. Yep. And it's like, that's the reality of what he is in right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he okay, but really he not. He is in a dire situation. He's looking at this as a 3-year vacation. He's in a dire situation.
That just goes to show how bad that job was for him, man.
Yeah.
Truly that rough.
He lives in a country where when you work too hard and you take a nap on the job, they're like, that's good for you to be tired enough to take a nap at work.
Right.
Good job, man. You work hard. Too hard, probably.
Absolutely disgusting, right? Oh man, it was such a good, and it's so pretty, bro. It's a fucking gorgeous show. Who did this again?
I think it was Jesus or Christ.
Bug Films, and this is the only thing they've ever done. This is the first go at it.
Yeah.
Impressive, man.
They are
Kudos
great.
to you. Kudos to you, Bug Films. That's actually very, 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 very talented artwork. Very talented, like just transition to design to all of it. It was beautifully done. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna meet another 2 characters to round out this cast. 12 episodes. I'm very much looking forward to where this goes. Probably more than almost anything except for, Jobless Reincarnation.
Hold up.
Well,
you said Bug Films, they only did what?
This, according to AniList, unless they don't have anything else added. When I click their studio.
Well, so they were involved in the Ancient Magus Bride.
Oh, and okay, no, they were support
studio. Call Me Can't Communicate. Yeah. Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible. Mobile Suit Gundam. The Wish from Mercury.
So to clarify, this is their first solo project.
Yeah, their first solo project. But they have worked on some other stuff.
They got credits on other stuff.
I mean, the stuff they have worked on, like we both like Cool Won't Let Me Be Invisible, Ancient Magus Bride, we both like that too. But this is, even if you look at all of those, everything they've made visually, this is entirely different.
Right.
And I like that they chose that artistic style for them alone.
Yeah. It's very interesting that they decided to go to studio like this one, though. Completely unknown one. Apparently, so where I was like taken back by this, though, is that they announced a live action before the anime even came out. A live action version of this, which is very peculiar. So apparently the manga is just that popular. So
yeah,
it makes sense.
The sleeper.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why Twitter blew the fuck up when this was announced. So,
do you think the hype is justified so far?
No,
no,
no, not yet. I just need to see where this goes. I mean, I like the characters. I like the show. Fine. It has an 81% on any list. Do I see that? From our scale, visually, yes. Characters, yes. Pacing.
Yeah, characters is we're not sure yet.
Yeah, that's true. We're not entirely sure on the characters yet. I'll say I am. I'm sure. Yeah.
But we got two more characters to get impossible character entire degradation.
That's a fact. It could be a bunch of stupidity, but like art wise, sound wise, the fucking soundtrack is unbelievable.
Oh,
so fucking good. Like it's great. So from our scale, from my Check Waifu scale perspective, an 81 is about right. The only thing that's not high for me is probably pacing. But it's again, we're only
better idea that later.
Yeah, exactly. We're only 2 episodes in, so we can't really fully judge it on that. So far, so good where it's at. And then moving on to last but not least, season 2 of JJK. We're still yes, we're still in the Gojo flashback, obviously, to where his Jujutsu high school career virtually started. Another great episode, another beautiful episode. I swear to God, this animation. Mappa literally goes all out sometimes, and the other times they kind of phone it in. They never phone this one in. Does this one seem, and maybe it's just because this is the flashback that's doing this, but does this one seem more manga-y? And what I mean by that is, like, you know what they do, that bar weird
bar.
Yeah, besides the bar for bar part, but the like the cartoony art style where they kind of like do silly silly changes in their character designs and shit. But that's like what they did in the manga, like verbatim.
Yeah, but I was gonna say more about the angles, because some of the angles that they took are very much so. Like there was that one angle where they got Gojo from the bottom, and then you can see his profile at that angle. Like,
You're now tuned into Mic Check Waifu Waifu. Is that you? Is that you? Is that you? Is that you? Is that you?